Park Jinwoo lay on his back under the cargo hauler, grease dripping onto his face. The hydraulic coupling was stuck again. Someone had cross-threaded it last week, and now the entire system was jammed. He gripped his wrench tighter and pulled hard. The metal groaned but did not move. "Come on, you piece of junk," he muttered. His voice echoed in the empty maintenance bay. It was late, almost midnight station time. Most people on Gangnam 7 were asleep. But the hauler needed to be fixed by morning, so here he was, alone with his tools and his anger. Jinwoo was 32 years old, though he looked older. His hands were rough and scarred from years of working with machines. His uniform was covered in oil stains that would never wash out. He had been a mechanic his whole adult life. First on Earth, then on Mars, and now here on this frontier station at the edge of human space. The work was always the same. Things broke, and he fixed them. He thought about his daughter as he worked. Minji was 8 now. She lived on Earth with her mother. Jinwoo sent most of his pay back to them every month. He had not seen Minji in person for 2 years. Video calls were not the same. Last time they talked, she had asked when he was coming home. He did not have an answer. The wrench slipped, and his knuckles scraped against the metal housing. He cursed and pulled his hand back. Blood ran from his torn skin. He wiped it on his already dirty uniform and went back to work. The coupling finally gave way with a loud crack. Coolant sprayed everywhere, soaking him completely. "Perfect," he said to no one. "Just perfect." He slid out from under the hauler and sat up, dripping. The maintenance bay was cold. His clothes were wet. He was tired, hungry, and his hand hurt. This was his life now. Fix things, sleep, wake up, fix more things. Day after day on a station that barely anyone cared about, Gangnam 7 was not important. It was a small station with about 2,000 people. Most of them were workers like him, or families trying to make a life on the frontier. There were a few shops, a small medical center, and a lot of cargo bays. The station existed because it was a good stopping point for ships traveling to the outer colonies. That was all. Jinwoo stood up and grabbed a rag to wipe his face. That was when he heard the alarm. It was not the normal alarm. This was different, louder, more urgent. The lights in the bay changed from white to red. The intercom crackled to life. "All station personnel, this is Administrator Lee. We have an emergency. Unknown ships have entered our space. Everyone please stay calm and go to your assigned shelter areas." "This is not a drill?" Jinwoo stopped moving. "Unknown ships? Out here?" Pirates sometimes came through, but the station had nothing worth stealing. They were too small, too far from anything important. He left the maintenance bay and walked toward the main corridor. Other people were coming out of their rooms and work areas. Everyone looked confused and worried. Jinwoo saw Kim Hana, the young engineering assistant who worked with him sometimes. She was 23 and still enthusiastic about her job, which Jinwoo found both annoying and a little bit nice. "Jinwoo," she called out. "Do you know what is happening?" "No idea," he said. Probably just a false alarm. But he did not believe that. The fear on people's faces told him this was real. They walked together toward the shelter area. More people joined them. Parents carried small children. Old people moved slowly, helped by younger ones. Everyone was quiet except for a few crying babies. The red lights kept flashing. Security Chief Choi Dae-yun appeared in the corridor. He was a big man, former military, with a serious face. He held up his hands to get everyone's attention. "Listen up," he said in a loud voice. "We have a situation. Multiple warships have surrounded the station. They are not human ships. They sent us a message. They are called the Valen Empire." People started talking all at once. Jinwoo felt his stomach tighten. The Valen Empire. He had heard stories. Everyone had. They were aliens who conquered other species and added them to their empire. They had destroyed entire planets that refused to surrender. They were dangerous and powerful. What do they want? Someone shouted. Choi looked uncomfortable. "They want us to surrender the station. They gave us 24 hours to decide. And if we refuse? Another voice asked. They will destroy us. The crowd erupted. People were shouting, crying, arguing. Jinwoo stood still, trying to process what he was hearing. Destroy the station. 2,000 people, gone, just like that. Everyone calmed down. Choi yelled. We have contacted Earth, the military is coming, but the closest fleet is 3 weeks away. 3 weeks? Someone screamed. We have 24 hours. Jinwoo pushed through the crowd toward the front. He found Administrator Lee Sumin standing with Choi. She looked exhausted and scared. She was a small woman in her 40s, usually calm and organized. But now her hands were shaking. What are the options? Jinwoo asked her directly. She looked at him with tired eyes. There are no good options, Jinwoo. We cannot fight them. We have no weapons, no soldiers. This is a civilian station. Can we evacuate? They will not let us. Their ships are blocking all the exits. We are trapped. Jinwoo felt anger rising in his chest. So we just wait to die? Lee shook her head. They offered one alternative. Single combat. They will send one of their elite soldiers. If we send someone to fight and that person wins, they will leave us alone. If we lose, they destroy the station anyway. That is insane, Choi said. These are the Crimson Guard. They are their best warriors. Each one has killed dozens of opponents. We do not have anyone who could fight them. Jinwoo looked around at the scared faces. Families holding each other. Children who did not understand what was happening. His daughter flashed through his mind. What would happen to Minji if he died here? Someone has to try, he heard himself say. Everyone turned to look at him. Lee blinked in surprise. Jinwoo, these are trained killers, she said. You are a mechanic. I know what I am, he said. But if no one fights, everyone dies anyway. Right? Lee opened her mouth, then closed it. She looked at Choi. The security chief looked at Jinwoo with something like respect. You would do this? Choi asked. Jinwoo thought about running, about saying no, about hiding until it was over. But he thought about the families on this station, about Hana, who reminded him of his daughter, about the children who deserved a chance to grow up. I will do it, he said. Lee grabbed his arm. Jinwoo, you do not have to. We can find another way. You just said there is no other way. She had no answer to that. The next few hours passed in a blur. Jinwoo was taken to a preparation room. They gave him basic armor, too big and uncomfortable. They gave him a plasma rifle, which he had never used before. A weapons instructor tried to teach him the basics in 30 minutes. Point, aim, pull trigger. Do not shoot yourself. The whole time, Jinwoo felt numb. What was he doing? He fixed machines. He was not a fighter. He was going to die, and everyone knew it. Hannah came to see him before he left. Her eyes were red from crying. You are very brave, she said. I am very stupid, he replied. But thank you. Come back alive, okay? The cargo haulers will break if you are not here. He almost smiled. I will try. They walked him to the airlock. The alien shuttle was waiting outside to take him to their ship. Lee and Choi stood there with sad faces. For what it is worth, Lee said, you are giving people hope. That matters. Jinwoo nodded. He did not feel hopeful. He felt terrified. He stepped into the airlock. The door closed behind him. Through the window, he could see the enormous alien warship waiting. Red lights glowed across its dark hull. It looked like a predator. The airlock cycled. The outer door opened. The alien shuttle extended a docking tunnel. Jinwoo took a deep breath and walked forward. Carrying his rifle and wearing his too big armor, he was just a mechanic with a wrench. But today he was all humanity had. The alien shuttle was nothing like human ships. Everything was too big, designed for creatures larger than humans. The seats were uncomfortable. The air smelled strange, like burned metal and something sweet that made Jinwoo's nose itch. 2 Valen soldiers stood guard, but they ignored him completely. To them, he was already dead. The journey to the warship took only a few minutes. When the shuttle docked, Jinwoo was led through corridors that seemed to go on forever. The walls were dark red, almost black. Strange symbols glowed along the ceiling. He heard sounds he could not identify. Alien voices, machinery that hummed at wrong frequencies. Finally, they brought him to a massive chamber. It was an arena. The floor was a circular platform, maybe 50 meters across. Around it stood hundreds, maybe thousands of aliens. Different species, all watching. Above them, massive screens showed his face. He looked small and scared on those screens. He felt small and scared. At the far end of the arena stood the Valen commanders. They were tall, nearly 8 feet high, with dark blue skin and 4 arms. They wore elaborate armor covered in markings that probably meant important things. One of them stepped forward. "I am Theron Vaskelm," the alien said. His voice came through a translator device, making it sound flat and emotionless. "Commander of the Crimson Dawn Fleet. You are the human champion?" Jinwoo wanted to say no. Wanted to say this was all a mistake. Instead, he just nodded. Theron looked at him for a long moment. Then he laughed. It was not a nice laugh. The great human resistance. One mechanic in borrowed armor. "Your species disappoints me." "Sorry to disappoint," Jinwoo muttered. Another alien stepped onto the arena platform. This one wore crimson armor that seemed to glow with its own light. The armor was covered in weapons. Blade attachments, built-in guns, energy shields that flickered around the edges. The alien inside stood 7 feet tall with 4 arms. Each arm held a different weapon. "This is Kelver the Unbroken," Theron announced. "He has fought 73 duels. He has won 73 times. He will be your opponent." The alien crowd roared. They were excited. This was entertainment for them. Watching humans die was probably fun. Someone threw armor and a rifle onto the platform near Jinwoo. The armor looked newer than what he was wearing, but it was still too big. The rifle was standard military issue, he guessed. He had no idea how to use it properly. "You have 5 minutes to prepare," Theron said. "Then the duel begins. When one fighter cannot continue, the duel ends. If you somehow win, we will honor our agreement and leave your station. When you lose, we will destroy it as promised." Jinwoo walked to the equipment. His hands were shaking. He tried to put on the armor pieces, but they did not fit right. The rifle was heavy and complicated. There were buttons and switches he did not understand. He found what he thought was the safety and tried to figure out how to turn it off. Kelver stood perfectly still on the other side of the arena, waiting, confident. Why would he not be confident? He was a trained killer in advanced armor facing a mechanic who did not know which end of the gun to point. The 5 minutes passed too quickly. A loud horn sounded. The duel had begun. Kelver started walking forward. Not running, just walking. He did not need to hurry. He had all the time in the world. Jinwoo raised the rifle. His finger found the trigger. He pulled it. Nothing happened. The safety was still on. The crowd laughed. Thousands of aliens laughing at the stupid human who could not work a gun. Jinwoo fumbled with the switches. Found another one. Tried again. This time the rifle fired, but the recoil surprised him. The shot went straight up into the ceiling. He stumbled backward and dropped the rifle. More laughter. Even Kelver stopped walking. His helmet tilted to one side, as if he could not believe what he was seeing. Jinwoo bent to pick up the rifle. His mind was racing. This was impossible. He could not win a fight. He had never been in a real fight in his life. The closest thing was an argument with his ex-wife about who got the apartment. But then his mechanic brain started working. He looked at Kelver's armor. Really looked at it. The design was familiar somehow. The way the pieces connected. The exhaust ports on the back. The power cables running along the arms. It was just a machine. A complicated machine. But still a machine, and Jinwoo understood machines. The arena floor under his feet was also familiar. He had worked on floors like this before. Modular platform sections. Standard construction. They used the same type on human stations because they were easy to repair, easy to take apart. Kelver started walking again. Faster now? He raised one of his weapons. It looked like a plasma glaive humming with energy. Jinwoo ran. Not toward Kelver, but toward the edge of the arena. The alien crowd booed. Running was cowardly. Running meant he had already given up, but Jinwoo was not giving up. He was thinking. The floor sections had seams. Where there were seams, there were access panels. Where there were access panels, there was machinery underneath. He found what he was looking for. A service hatch, marked with symbols he did not need to read. Every arena had them. How else would workers repair things? Kelver was running now, closing the distance. His glaive swung down. Jinwoo dropped flat. The blade passed over his head so close he felt the heat. It struck the floor right next to the service hatch. The impact cracked the hatch seal. Perfect. Jinwoo jammed his wrench into the crack. He had forgotten he even had it. The wrench had been on his belt this whole time, hidden under the too big armor. Old habit. He never went anywhere without his tools. He pried the hatch open. Below was darkness and the smell of machinery. A maintenance crawlspace, just like on human stations. Kelver's glaive came down again. Jinwoo rolled through the open hatch and dropped into the crawlspace below. The arena above erupted in confused noise. The aliens had never seen anyone do this. Their duels were about honor and strength. You stood and fought. You did not hide in the maintenance spaces like a rat, but Jinwoo was not interested in honor. He was interested in staying alive. The crawlspace was cramped and dark. Perfect. Jinwoo's eyes adjusted quickly. He could see the underside of the arena platform. Power cables. Support beams. Cooling systems. All the guts of the structure that most people never saw. Above him, Kelver was tearing up floor panels, trying to find him. The alien was strong. Panels ripped away easily in his 4 hands. Light flooded down into the crawlspace. Jinwoo crawled deeper into the shadows. He was looking for something specific. Every powered armor suit needed massive amounts of energy. That energy had to come from somewhere, and it had to be regulated or the suit would overheat. There, he found what he was looking for. A power conduit running along the ceiling of the crawlspace. It was feeding energy to the arena's force field generators. But more importantly, it was the same voltage as what Kelver's armor used. He could tell by the cable thickness and the insulation type. Standard military power systems. Kelver had torn away enough panels to see into the crawlspace now. He spotted Jinwoo and aimed one of his weapons. An energy blast scorched the metal near Jinwoo's head. Jinwoo worked faster. He used his wrench to open the conduit housing. Inside were 3 thick power cables, color-coded. Red, blue, green. The same colors used in human systems. Apparently some things were universal. Another blast. Closer this time. The heat made his skin hurt. Jinwoo grabbed the blue cable, the one that carried the return current. He pulled it free from its connection. Then he grabbed the red one. The main power line. Kelver was climbing down into the crawlspace now, his armor scraping against the support beams. Jinwoo touched the 2 cables together. The feedback was immediate and violent. Power surged back through the conduit, overloading everything connected to it. Sparks exploded throughout the crawlspace. The lights above flickered and died. Emergency lighting kicked in, bathing everything in red, but most importantly, Kelver's armor went haywire. The exhaust ports started blasting superheated coolant. Steam filled the crawlspace. Warning alarms screamed from the armor. The built-in systems were trying to shut down before they melted, but they could not shut down fast enough. Kelver thrashed, blind in the steam. His armor locked up, actuators frozen to prevent damage. He was trapped in 400 pounds of metal. Jinwoo climbed out of the crawlspace, coughing from the steam. He pulled himself back onto the arena floor. The alien crowd had gone completely silent. He walked over to where Kelver was stuck, half in and half out of the crawlspace. The warrior's helmet turned toward him. Behind the visor, Jinwoo could see eyes full of rage and disbelief. Jinwoo raised his wrench and tapped it gently against the helmet. Do you want to give up? He asked. Or should I start taking apart the life support system? Because I can do that too. For a long moment, nothing happened. Then Kelver's voice came through the armor's external speakers. One word in the alien language. The translator rendered it simply, yield. The arena exploded with noise. But not cheering, confusion, anger, disbelief. Jinwoo stood there, covered in grease and coolant and sweat, holding his wrench. He had just beaten one of the most feared warriors in the galaxy, and he had no idea what happened next. Jinwoo was brought back to Gangnam 7 in the same shuttle. The Valen soldiers still did not speak to him, but they looked at him differently now, with something that might have been respect or maybe just confusion. He sat in the uncomfortable seat and tried to process what had just happened. He had won. Somehow, impossibly, he had won. When the shuttle docked at the station, he expected quiet relief. Maybe a few grateful faces. Instead, he found chaos. The airlock opened to reveal a crowd of people cheering and crying. Someone had broadcast the entire duel to the station. Everyone had watched. Administrator Lee pushed through the crowd and grabbed him in a hug. She was crying. You did it, she kept saying. You actually did it? Choi was there too, grinning wider than Jinwoo had ever seen. That was the most insane thing I have ever witnessed. Using the maintenance crawl space? Brilliant. Kim Hannah was jumping up and down. I knew you could do it. I told everyone you would find a way. Jinwoo felt overwhelmed. Too many people, too much noise. He just wanted to shower and sleep for about 12 hours. But people kept grabbing his hands, patting his back, thanking him for saving their lives. Over the next few days, things got stranger. The dual footage spread beyond the station. Other human colonies picked it up. Then Earth news networks started calling him the Wrench Warrior and the mechanic who beat an empire. His face was everywhere. His ex-wife called, confused and a little angry that she had to learn about this from the news. His daughter thought he was a superhero now, but Jinwoo just wanted to go back to work. The cargo hauler still needed repairs. Ships were waiting for maintenance. Life had to continue. He was under the hauler again, finally fixing that hydraulic coupling when Hana came running into the bay. Jinwoo! You need to come. The Valen are back. His blood went cold. What? They are on the main screen. Commander Theron wants to talk. He crawled out from under the hauler and followed her to the command center. A crowd had gathered around the communication screen. Theron's face filled it, his expression angry. Humans of Gangnam 7, he said. I come with new terms. The previous duel was invalid. Lee stepped forward. What do you mean, invalid? Your warrior yielded. Everyone saw it. The duel was supposed to be combat, Theron said. Not mechanical sabotage. Your champion did not defeat Kelver. He merely disabled his equipment through trickery. This is not honorable victory. You never said anything about honor in the rules, Lee shot back. You said when one fighter cannot continue, the duel ends. Kelver could not continue. Theron's face darkened. We demand a rematch. This time with proper rules. 3 of our Crimson Guard against your champion. And this time we will ensure he cannot hide beneath the floor like a coward. The crowd around Jinwoo started arguing. Some people were angry. Others were scared. Lee looked at Jinwoo with desperate eyes. You do not have to do this, she said quietly. Tell them no. Jinwoo wanted to say no. He had gotten lucky once. He knew that. Trying again would be suicide, especially against 3 opponents. How long do we have? He asked. 48 hours, Theron said. If your champion does not fight, we will destroy the station as originally planned. And this time, we will not offer alternatives. The screen went dark. The crowd erupted in arguments. Choi was already talking about evacuation plans that would not work. Lee looked like she might cry. Jinwoo walked back to the maintenance bay. He needed to think. He sat on the floor next to the hauler and stared at his wrench. Just a tool. A simple piece of metal. But it had saved 2,000 lives. Hannah found him there an hour later. What are you going to do? she asked. I do not know, he admitted. 3 against 1 is impossible, even with tricks. She sat down next to him. You always told me that every machine has a weakness. What if we treated this like a machine problem? What do you mean? Their armor, their ships, their whole empire, it is all machines. And you are the best mechanic I know. Maybe we just need to find the weakness in their system. Jinwoo looked at her. Really looked. She was young and still believed problems could be solved. He used to be like that. Even if we find a weakness, he said, I cannot beat 3 of them alone. Then do not fight alone. Over the next 36 hours, something unexpected happened. Troy came to the maintenance bay with an idea. He had been thinking about the duel, about how Jinwoo won. Not through fighting, but through understanding systems. We have 14 people on this station with engineering backgrounds, Troy said. Mechanics, technicians, system specialists. What if we use them? The Valen said single combat, Jinwoo pointed out. No, they said your champion fights. They did not say you had to do it alone. We can prepare the arena. Build in advantages. Make the battlefield work for you instead of against you. Jinwoo sat up straighter. They would let us do that? They let you sabotage the floor last time. They probably think we want to repair it after the damage you caused. They would see it as humans trying to save face. It was a crazy idea. But it might work. They put together a team. Jinwoo, Hana, and 12 other engineers and mechanics from the station. People who understood power systems, structural mechanics, electromagnetic fields. Troy joined them too. Bringing what combat knowledge he had, they requested permission to repair the arena floor before the rematch. Just as Troy predicted, the Valen agreed. They thought it was funny. The humans trying to make things proper for their next defeat. The team worked in shifts, barely sleeping. They rebuilt the arena, but not the way it was before. They added hidden pressure plates that looked like normal floor sections. They rerouted power conduits so they could be triggered remotely. They installed magnetic panels that could activate or deactivate on command. Under Jinwoo's direction, they turned the arena into a trap, but they had to be subtle. Too obvious, and the Valen would notice. Everything had to look normal to casual inspection. While the others worked on the arena, Jinwoo studied everything he could find about Valen technology. The armor they used was advanced, but standardized. Every suit had the same basic design, same exhaust configuration, same power requirements, same weak points. They had conquered so many species that they stopped adapting. Why improve what already worked? Their technology was perfect, so they never questioned it. That was their real weakness. Arrogance. Jinwoo called a meeting 12 hours before the rematch. His team gathered in the maintenance bay, exhausted but determined. Listen carefully, he said. I cannot teach you how to fight, but I can teach you how to break things. Their armor has 3 critical systems: power, cooling, and mobility. Disable any one of them, and the warrior inside is helpless. He showed them diagrams he had made, marked the weak points, explained which components connected to what, where the vulnerable spots were, how the systems interacted. The exhaust ports are here and here, he pointed. If you can overheat them, the suit goes into emergency shutdown. The gyro stabilizers are in the legs. Break those and the armor cannot balance. The helmet seals here. Block the air intakes and the life support fails. Hannah raised her hand. But we will not be in the arena. How does this help you? Because I'm going to do what I did last time. Use the environment. The arena is ready now. We have pressure plates that can trigger magnetic locks. Power surges we can activate remotely. Steam vents. Everything I need is built in. I just need to lead them into the traps. And if they do not follow? Troy asked. Jinwoo smiled grimly. Then I improvise. Same as always. The next morning, he said goodbye to his team. They were not allowed to come to the alien ship. He would go alone, just like before. Lee met him at the airlock. She looked older than she had 2 days ago. I watched the preparations, she said. It is clever. But Jinwoo, even with all that, 3 against 1. I know the odds, he interrupted. But what choice do we have? She handed him something. His wrench. He had left it in the maintenance bay. You forgot this, she said. I thought you might need it. He took it, feeling the familiar weight. Thanks. And Jinwoo? Your daughter called. She wanted me to tell you she believes in you. His throat felt tight. He nodded, not trusting himself to speak. The shuttle arrived. Same as before. Same alien guards. Same smell of burned metal and sweetness. But this time, Jinwoo was not going in blind. This time he had a plan. The shuttle took him to the warship. Through the long corridors. Back to the massive arena. But when he arrived, he saw they had made changes too. The force field was stronger. Guards were stationed around the arena edges. And worst of all, they had reinforced the floor. No more crawlspace access. They had learned from last time. 3 Crimson Guard warriors stood waiting. In the center was Kelver, his armor upgraded and modified. To his left was a slender warrior with 2 plasma blades. To his right was a massive figure in heavy siege armor, carrying what looked like a cannon. Theron stood at the commander's platform, smiling. Welcome back, mechanic, he said. This time we have made sure you cannot run and hide. This time you will fight. Or you will die quickly. Jinwoo looked at the 3 warriors. At the reinforced floor. At the guards. His plan was already falling apart, and the fight had not even started yet. The horn sounded. The rematch had begun. Jinwoo did not wait to see what they would do. He ran immediately, heading for the arena wall. The 3 warriors spread out, not chasing him directly, but moving to cut off his escape routes. They had learned. They were using tactics now, not just brute force. The slender warrior with the plasma blades was fastest. She moved like water, covering ground quickly. Jinwoo could see her name painted on her armor in Valan script. Not that it mattered. What mattered was that she would reach him first. He ran toward a specific section of the wall. During the repairs, his team had installed a maintenance hatch there. Hidden, but accessible if you knew where to look. He just had to reach it before the warrior was on him. Blades swung in a blur. Jinwoo dropped flat, sliding on the smooth arena floor. The blades passed over him, so close he felt the heat. She was incredibly fast, faster than Kelver had been. He rolled to the side and came up running. The hatch was right there. He grabbed for it. His hand touched metal. But before he could open it, the floor beneath him activated. One of his own traps, triggered by his weight on the pressure plate. Magnetic locks engaged and his boots stuck to the floor. The warrior spun around, blades ready to strike. She had seen the trap activate and knew he was stuck, but Jinwoo had planned for this. He had designed these traps. He knew exactly how long they stayed active. 3 seconds. He counted in his head. 1, 2, the blades came down. 3, the magnets disengaged. Jinwoo threw himself backward. The blades struck the floor where he had been standing, gouging deep marks in the metal. The warrior stumbled, off balance from the missed strike. Just for a moment. But that moment was enough. Jinwoo kicked hard against her leg, right where the gyro stabilizer housing was located. He knew exactly where it was because he had studied the armor designs for hours. His kick did not break anything. The armor was too strong. But it did knock her off balance. She fell, and her armor hit the magnetic panel. For 3 seconds she was stuck. Jinwoo ran. He could hear the heavy warrior with the cannon moving to intercept. The floor shook with each step of that massive armor. A blast of plasma screamed past Jinwoo's head so close it burned his hair. The heavy warrior was not subtle. Just raw destructive power. The blast hit the wall. The section Jinwoo had weakened during repairs. The wall panel cracked and fell, revealing the space behind it. Not a maintenance hatch. Something better. A coolant pipe for the arena's environmental systems. Jinwoo grabbed a piece of the broken wall panel and jammed it into the pipe. The pipe split open. Freezing coolant sprayed everywhere. The temperature in the arena dropped instantly. Frost formed on the floor. The heavy warrior charged through the coolant spray, not caring. His siege armor was built to handle extreme conditions, but the coolant was spreading, covering the floor in a layer of frost and ice. Jin Woo kept running along the wall. He was heading for another specific section, where his team had installed power conduits that could overload on command. But he needed to get the warriors close together first. Kelver was moving now, cutting off the angle. He had been hanging back, watching, learning. This time he would not be fooled by simple tricks. His upgraded armor had better cooling systems, reinforced actuators, improved sensors. He had prepared for Jinwoo's tactics. All three warriors were converging on him now. Jinwoo was running out of arena. His back was almost against the wall. The slender warrior had freed herself from the magnetic trap and was closing in from the left. The heavy warrior was coming straight on, cannon charging for another shot. Kelver was approaching from the right, moving carefully, watching for traps. Jinwoo's mind raced. The floor was slippery now from the coolant. That would slow them down, but also made it hard for him to move. The power conduits were above him in the wall, but he needed a way to trigger them. And he needed all three warriors in range. The heavy warrior fired his cannon again. Jinwoo dove to the side. The blast hit the wall above him, exactly where the power conduits were hidden. The explosion ripped open the wall, exposing the conduits. Sparks flew. Power arced across the exposed wires. Perfect. The heavy warrior had done Jinwoo's work for him, but now Jinwoo had a new problem. He was on the ground, slipping on the icy coolant, and three warriors were about to reach him. He could not get up fast enough. Could not run any more. So he did not try to run. Instead, he slid. He pushed himself across the icy floor, sliding like he was on a skating rink, right between the heavy warrior's legs. The massive armor could not turn fast enough. Jinwoo slid past and came up behind him. The exposed power conduits were sparking above. Jinwoo grabbed a piece of metal debris from the broken wall. He threw it at the conduits. His aim was terrible. The debris bounced off the wall, missing completely, but the slender warrior, moving fast, saw the debris flying and instinctively slashed at it with her blade. The plasma blade connected. The debris, now superheated, touched the exposed conduits. The power surge was massive. Electricity arced across the wet, icy floor. All three warriors were standing in the coolant. The current flowed through the liquid through their armor. Warning alarms screamed from all three suits. The heavy warrior's armor locked up immediately. Too much mass, too many systems, all overloaded at once. He toppled like a falling tree, his cannon firing randomly as he went down. The shot went wild, hitting the arena ceiling. The slender warrior was faster. She tried to jump clear, but her boots were wet. She slipped on the ice and went down hard. Her armor flickered, shields failing, systems rebooting. Kelver managed to stay standing. His upgraded armor had better insulation, better protection. The power surge hurt his systems but did not disable them. He stood there in the sparking aftermath, armor smoking, but still functional. He looked at Jinwoo. The mechanic was on his knees, exhausted, out of tricks. The arena floor was torn up. The walls were broken. Systems were failing all around them. But Kelver was still standing, and Jinwoo had nothing left. "You are clever, human," Kelver said through his helmet speaker. The translator made his voice sound almost sad. "But cleverness ends when strength begins. You have fought well. But this ends now." He started walking toward Jinwoo, not rushing. Just walking, confident, his glaive hummed with deadly energy. Jinwoo tried to stand. His legs did not want to work. He was tired, cold, and running on nothing but adrenaline. He looked around for something, anything to use. But there was nothing. He had used every trap, every trick. The arena was destroyed, but so were his options. Then he heard a voice in his helmet. Hana's voice, transmitted from the station. "Boss, you once told me every machine has a weakness. What is the weakness of powered armor?" Jinwoo blinked. Thought about it. The armor was strong, protected, advanced, but what was its purpose? To protect the pilot inside. And what happened when you put someone in a sealed suit with complex life support? "The pilot," Jinwoo said quietly. He stopped trying to run. Instead, he walked toward Kelver. The warrior paused, surprised. Was this a trick? But Jinwoo had no weapons. No tools? Nothing. Your armor is perfect, Jinwoo said. It can handle anything. Power surges, coolant, ice, explosions. Nothing can break it. Then you understand, Kelver replied. This is over, but you forgot something. Kelver's glaive came up. What did I forget? You forgot that perfect armor needs to protect you from everything, including the arena itself. Jinwoo pointed up at the ceiling. The heavy warrior's random cannon shot had hit something important. The arena's force field generators were sparking, unstable. And, in trying to protect the arena, the systems were increasing power to compensate. The generators hummed louder and louder. So what? Kelver said, the force field has nothing to do with this fight. The force field runs at 3.7 kilohertz, Jinwoo said. Same frequency as your armor's shield generators. I noticed it in the first fight. When I trapped you in the crawl space, your armor was interfering with the local power systems. The harmonic resonance was obvious. That means nothing now? I am not near any power systems. Jinwoo smiled. It was not a nice smile. You are standing right under the force field generators, and they are overloading. In about 10 seconds, they are going to spike to maximum power to try to stabilize. And when they do, the harmonic resonance with your armor will lock up every system you have. Kelver looked up. He saw the generator sparking, saw the power readings climbing on his helmet display. He could move away, run to a different section of the arena. But would he make it in time? And what if the human was bluffing? He decided not to risk it. He charged at Jinwoo, planning to end this before the generator spiked, but Jinwoo did not run. He stood his ground. And when Kelver swung his glaive, Jinwoo did something insane. He grabbed the weapon shaft with both hands. The plasma blade stopped an inch from his chest. They were locked, strength against strength. Kelver was pushing, slowly driving the blade closer. You cannot win, Kelver said. I am stronger. I know, Jinwoo gasped. But I do not need to win. I just need to keep you here for 5 more seconds. Kelver realized the trap. He tried to pull back to break away, but Jinwoo held on with desperate strength. 3 seconds. 2 seconds. The force field generator spiked. Maximum power. The harmonic frequency hit Kelver's armor like a hammer. Every system locked instantly. The armor froze, completely unresponsive. Theron Vaskelm stood on his command platform, staring at the arena below. 3 of his finest warriors, defeated, again, by the same human. The alien crowd was silent. No one knew what to do. This was not supposed to happen. The Crimson Guard did not lose. They especially did not lose twice to the same opponent. And they definitely did not lose to a mechanic with no weapons. Jinwoo stood in the center of the ruined arena, barely able to stay on his feet. He was exhausted, cold, and every muscle hurt. But he was alive, and he had won. Get him out of there, Theron said quietly to his guards, before I do something I regret. The guards came down and escorted Jinwoo out of the arena. This time they did not ignore him. They kept their distance, watching him carefully, like he might suddenly do something dangerous. Jinwoo almost laughed. He could barely walk. He was not dangerous to anyone right now. They put him in a holding room, left him there for hours with no explanation. He sat on a bench that was too large and tried to stay awake. His mind kept replaying the fight. All the things that could have gone wrong. All the lucky breaks. He had won, but it felt more like he had survived. Finally, the door opened. But it was not guards. It was Theron himself. The commander entered alone, without weapons or armor. He looked tired, old, defeated. You have destroyed everything, Theron said. He sat down across from Jinwoo, his forearms hanging loose. Do you understand what you have done? I saved my station, Jinwoo replied. That is all I was trying to do. No, you did more than that. Theron leaned forward. The duel was broadcast across our empire. Hundreds of worlds watched. Species we conquered. Species we told that resistance was futile, that our Crimson Guard were unbeatable. They all watched you defeat our warriors with hand tools and improvisation. Good, Jinwoo said. Maybe they will start resisting. They already have. Theron's voice was bitter. In the past 48 hours, we have had 17 rebellions across our territory. Maintenance workers sabotaging ships, engineers disabling weapons, technicians causing system failures. They saw what you did. They learned that our technology can be beaten by anyone who understands how it works. Jinwoo felt a strange mix of emotions. Pride, fear, guilt. That is not my fault. You are the ones who built an empire on force. And you have shown everyone that force is not enough. Theron stood up. I came here to kill you, to execute you myself. But I realized that would accomplish nothing. You've already won. Killing you now would just make you a martyr. The rebellions would get worse. So what happens now? Theron looked at him with ancient, tired eyes. Now I make a choice. Continue fighting, trying to hold together an empire that is crumbling, or admit defeat and try to salvage what I can. He walked to the door, then paused. You will be returned to your station. We are withdrawing from human space. All of our ships. We will not bother your species again. What about the rest of your empire? That is no longer your concern. The door opened. Go home, mechanic. You have done enough damage. The shuttle took Jinwoo back to Gangnam 7. When he arrived, the celebration was even bigger than before. The entire station knew what had happened. Someone had gotten footage of the second duel, too. It was already spreading across human space, faster than before. People grabbed him, hugged him, thanked him. Someone put a drink in his hand. Music was playing. Everyone was happy, relieved, celebrating their survival. Jinwoo felt numb to all of it. He kept thinking about what Theron had said. About the rebellions. About the empire crumbling. He had just wanted to save his station. Now he had accidentally started some kind of galactic revolution. Administrator Lee found him in the crowd. She pulled him aside to a quieter corridor. Are you okay? She asked. You look like you just lost? I am just tired, he said. It has been a long day. Jinwoo, you are a hero. You saved us. You saved humanity. I am not a hero. I'm just a mechanic who got lucky twice. She smiled sadly. I do not think you understand what you have done. The aliens are already calling you the Empire Breaker. Human military intelligence has been contacting us. They want you to teach their engineers about Valen technology. Other species are sending messages, asking for help organizing resistance movements. You have changed everything. I do not want to change everything, he said, feeling frustrated. I just want to fix machines and send money to my daughter and live my life. I know. But the galaxy has other plans. Over the next 6 months, things did not calm down. They got more complicated. The Valen Empire continued to crumble. More rebellions. More system failures. The subject species that had been conquered were taking back their freedom. Using the methods Jinwoo had demonstrated, the human military did contact him. Repeatedly, they wanted him to join. To teach, to help develop new weapons and tactics. He refused every time. He was not a soldier. He was a mechanic. The media wanted interviews. Politicians wanted to meet him. Scientists wanted to study how he thought. Everyone wanted a piece of the man who had broken an empire with a wrench. Jinwoo ignored them all. He went back to work in the maintenance bay. The cargo haulers still broke. The hydraulic couplings still got cross-threaded. Life continued even after everything changed. Hannah still worked with him. She was getting better at repairs, learning his tricks and methods. Sometimes she would ask about the duels, about how he figured things out so quickly. He tried to explain that he did not figure things out. He just looked at problems the way he always had, as machines that needed fixing. But how did you stay calm? She asked one day. You were facing death. 3 of the most dangerous warriors in the galaxy. How did you not panic? Jinwoo thought about it while replacing a worn power coupling. Because panicking does not fix anything? When a machine breaks, you do not panic. You look at what is wrong. You figure out why it is wrong. Then you fix it. The warriors were just complicated machines. Dangerous machines, yes, but still machines. One day, a ship arrived at the station. Not human. Not Valen, something else. The aliens called themselves the Torvin. They had been part of the Valen Empire until recently. Now they were free. Their delegation asked to meet with Jinwoo. He reluctantly agreed. They met in the station's small conference room. The Torvin were shorter than humans, with blue-gray skin and large eyes. They looked nervous. "We came to thank you," their leader said through a translator. "Our world was conquered 40 years ago. We thought we would never be free. Then we saw your duels. We learned that technology is not magic, that machines can be understood and defeated. We studied your methods. We applied them to our own situation. Now our planet is free." "I am glad you are free," Jinwoo said. "But I did not do it to start a revolution. I just wanted to save my station." "We understand. But your actions had consequences beyond your intentions. You showed us something important. That the strong are not always strong. That the weak are not always weak. That knowledge and creativity can defeat raw power." They wanted to give him a medal, some kind of honor from their new free government. He declined. They asked if he would come to their world, teach their engineers. He declined that too. "I am not a teacher," he said. "I am just a mechanic." After they left, Choi found him in the maintenance bay. "You know, you could be rich," Choi said. "Famous, powerful, if you wanted. Earth would give you anything. A fleet of your own. A position in the military. Whatever you wanted. I do not want those things." "What do you want?" Jinwoo looked at the cargo hauler he was working on. "The same one from 6 months ago. It had broken again. Different problem, but still broken. I want my daughter to visit," he said quietly. "I want to fix machines that stay fixed for more than a week. I want people to stop calling me a hero. I am not a hero. I just did what needed to be done." A few weeks later, his daughter did visit. Minji arrived with her mother. She was 8 now, tall for her age, with her father's serious eyes. When she saw him, she ran and hugged him hard. "Dad, you are famous. Everyone at school knows about you." He hugged her back, feeling emotions he had been holding in for months. "I missed you." His ex-wife stood back, awkward. Things had not ended well between them. But she nodded at him with something like respect. "What you did was brave," she said. "Stupid but brave. That seems to be my specialty." Minji wanted to see everything. The maintenance bay where he worked. The station corridors. The place where he had first been chosen to fight. She asked a million questions, full of energy and excitement. "Are you going to fight more aliens?" She asked. "No, that is over now. But what if they come back?" "Then someone else will handle it." "I am retired from alien fighting, but you are so good at it." Jinwoo knelt down to look her in the eyes. "Listen, Minji, I'm good at fixing machines. Fighting was just fixing a very dangerous machine. I do not want to do it again. I just want to be your dad and fix cargo haulers, okay?" She nodded, but he could see she did not really understand. To her, he was a hero from a story. Someone brave and special. She did not see the scared man who had almost died twice through luck and improvisation that evening. After Minji and her mother left to sleep in the station's guest quarters, Jinwoo returned to the maintenance bay. It was quiet, just him and the machines. He lay down under the cargo hauler and looked up at the hydraulic systems. Someone had cross-threaded the coupling again. He pulled out his wrench and started working.